Welcome back. I'm going to continue with a few more questions for Tirtha Maharaj. And I'd like to see if we can learn a little bit more about how the Bhagavad Gita can help us in the area of happiness. So in chapter 14, verse 9 of the Gita, it says that the sattvic gun leads to happiness. Can you please talk about what the Gita tells us, how we can actually find out what actually makes us happy? What makes it, because people want to be happy, but they don't know what makes them happy.
Exactly. The problem is, it's not a recent phenomenon. What we have to understand is that the Lord Himself says in the Gita, Mamopetya punarjanma dukkhalayam ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam, he calls this whole material, not the world, universe, as place of miseries. That means how can you be happy? Isn't it? If God Himself says it is the place of miseries, that's why today nobody is happy. Okay? So the idea is here, how can one be happy? Only a sense-controlled persons can be happy.
Mm-hmm. So you got to have reins on your five senses. So you don't chase, just good food or lust and sex and dressing like clothes and all the Kardashian world probably. How they call it.
People think indulgence will make you happy. No, restraint will make you happy. See, when I first came to London some 25 years back, I noticed on the board, we call it hoarding board in India, billboards.
Billboards.
It had displayed a voluptuous female personality.
Yes.
And it is written, ignite your senses.
It's the opposite of what Krishna says. Yes, it's the opposite. Yeah.
Actually, you should restrict your senses.
Right, calm them down.
When we say control, we don't mean suppression, we mean subjugation. When we say control, we don't mean repression, we mean regulation.
Regulation. So not repress your senses, but regulate them, and to kind of use them, be the master of them rather than let them be your masters, in other words, perhaps.
You are becoming slave to the senses.
Yes.
So that is, like here, earlier people used to go to church regularly. Now churches are disappearing, pubs and clubs are appearing.
Yeah.
So independent of God, you cannot really enjoy it. For example, happiness, when you said, I want to say this, like when you take fish from the water and put it on the land, what happens?
Well, it's basically, it struggles and then it dies.
Then dies. Why is that? Because it's an aquatic animal. Mm-hmm. It's incompatibility. Mm-hmm. Right? Similarly, we belong to the spiritual world, but we have come here. So we will struggle, suffer, and then die. This is what happens. So there's no question of we are maybe perpetually happy, nobody can be.
No.
I'll give you another example. Mm-hmm. Camels eat thorns, right, in the desert area. Their food is thorn. And the thorn pierces, sometimes cuts the tongue. So it still eats and thinks I'm enjoying. Actually, it's eating its own blood. Thorn mixed with blood, its own blood. Where is the enjoyment here? Similarly, in India, we have seen children playing on the road in summer, cricket. Mm-hmm. Because summer sun is there up to 7:30, 8 o'clock. So when the mother calls the son, you come and take to study, she said, no mommy, I'm enjoying. I noticed the boy's face. He was genuine when he says that. But she came and gave one hot slap and took him in. She said, come on, sit and study. Now, why did she do that? Because when he says, I'm enjoying, that enjoyment is an ignorance. Because if he doesn't take to studies properly, he will fail the exams, and his future will be miserable. It's that material thing. Same thing if you apply here.
Yes.
Because you are the spirit, soul, and not the body. Unless you come back to that eternal situation, you cannot be really happy.
So I know you're not saying this, so let me see if I can draw out of you the answer to the question, which is, I understand that it's not possible to be permanently happy, continually happy all the time. But as human beings, we can't move into something of a higher aspect of what's available. We can't move into the higher thinking unless there is something that we are at least satisfied with here, at least there's happiness, because otherwise you're just struggling all the time. So are you saying that it's, people are just going to be, you were just doomed to be miserable down here, or are you saying that there's a way to be happy? There is something. What is that?
No, but that if you accept, then only you can
okay.
do that.
So
the acceptance is, you become Krishna conscious, instantly you become happy.
Right.
That is, you first of all, what you do is that you start chanting the name of God.
Okay.
Okay.
The jap.
Yeah.
Start to get into the methods in the slow way.
Since last 50 years.
Yes.
Okay. You chant, the chanting of the holy names of the Lord.
Yes.
Will make you instantly happy. I'm honestly, because I've practiced and I'm telling you.
Right.
It's not academic understanding. Yeah. So actually, unless you have experienced something yourself, you can't express properly.
Sure.
Okay. So I've experienced this. I've been chanting for 25 years, more than that in fact. So the moment you take to chanting, all your anarthas will go.
Tell me about your experience of chanting personally. How do you experience that?
Yeah, actually, like I'm saying, I'm quite happy. I'm now 77-year-old guy, but since last 30 years when I started chanting, no day you would have caught me in a sorrowful mood, all the time.
So it makes you peaceful.
Yeah, peaceful and energetic. But then what you have to do is, first of all, to purify your consciousness, you'll have to come out of 4 major sinful activities.
Okay.
Well, I may spell it out for you, but then I don't know how others look at it.
Right.
They may consider it sinful or not.
Right.
That I'm not. Since you asked me this question, I'm making it clear.
Okay.
So a sinful man can never be a happy man. A sinless man can be a happy man. So especially the 4 major sins are dutam, gambling, panam, intoxicants, striya, illicit physical relationship,
okay,
and suna, animal flesh eating.
So gambling, drink or drugs, and being overly dependent on them, having illicit affairs.
Yes.
So we say stri, which means woman, but I think it's the other way around as well. Women are involved in that act. So let's assume that women and men, so it's basically illicit affairs. Okay, so that's
and animal flesh eating.
And meat.
Yeah, these 4. If anyone is indulged in any of these 4 or all the 4,
yes,
that person will be miserable. First, you have to come out of that. But after coming out of that, and if you start chanting,
yes,
the result is instant.
Yes. So
and then let me clarify. When we say gambling, it starts from video games. Up to the race horse.
But it's addiction, right? Addiction of any sort, essentially, what you're referring to.
Yeah.
So whether it's video, anything which takes you...
mentally agitates you.
Yeah, anything that absorbs you to the extent where you've lost a sense of who you are. That could be anything, drink, drugs, whether it's video games or anything that you're addicted to.
Up to the race horse, the betting on race horse, all that.
Gambling, etc.
The panam intoxicants, it's not merely beer, gin, whiskey, rum, brandy, drug. It also includes coffee, tea, any form of tobacco.
Again, addiction.
Again, addiction. Yeah. Morning 7 o'clock, if you don't get your cup of tea, you are mentally disturbed.
Right.
You can't concentrate on anything.
Yes.
But it's not required. Like I don't take tea, coffee. It didn't disturb me.
No.
So anything that disturbs you, the addiction has to be given up.
And what about people? People that disturb you?
No, that is different.
Because that's my question.
Addiction that you can get rid of.
Can you though? Yeah. Can you? Because if you have people with whom you have relationships, you're bound family-wise or family work relationships. Sometimes people don't have it, like they feel they don't have a choice because they have to show up in that environment every day, and they may not necessarily have the same level of connection or ability to, not everybody's at the same level, right? So some people may not gel, may not connect, and some people may actually want to dominate other people and control them. So in those scenarios, how do we how do we use the Gita for helping us?
You know, in Indian situation, I told a gentle lady, she said, many people barge into my house.
Yes.
So I said, no, don't stop them, let the girls come. She was a college girl. When the moment she comes, you tell your friend, like, come on, let's go to the temple. Then she will stop coming. You see, the more...
Get them to do things they don't enjoy doing, and but that's a little bit of like a trick. Okay, that's a little strategy.
Yeah, that's a strategy, just a strategy. You see, the moment you start speaking about Krishna, the moment you start speaking about spirituality, they will say that a couple of days later they will stop coming themselves and disturbing.
Good.
Yeah, first of all, you have to be convinced. You should first of all become Krishna conscious. That is required. You stop eating meat. You stop eating meat. You see, like, if I say, people will say, oh no, this is a sadhu guy, it is their habit of saying all this. No, Pythagoras, you can go to the internet, Pythagoras, that Greek mathematician, he said, as long as men massacre animals to eat their flesh, they cannot help killing each other. That's exactly what is happening today all around the world.
Right.
So whether you accept it as a sin, according to me, according to our scripture, or even if you give your ears to this gentleman, Pythagoras, it's one and the same. It creates in you unwanted passion, you see. So, Dyutam Panam Striya Suna Yatra Adharmaha Chaturdida. They are called irreligious persons. It is in the Bhagavad Purana.
Right. So these are the things that keep you from being aware, realizing your who you are in a deeper essence, and also what your purpose is. But I do find that as somebody who's a very, very avid practitioner of yoga, I also teach it. And I've found even in the last 10 years that there's more and more people in the West who are looking to really striving to become, they call it vegan. It's not. I mean, some of us are born vegetarian, but that movement is happening in the West, where there's even in India, where people are becoming more aware that being vegetarian is a good thing. It's not for the poor people. That there's principles that drive the idea of not eating animals and fish and so on. So in the doing of that, I think what I'm hearing you say is that when you take away those habits which disturb your peace of mind, and you instead develop other habits which encourage and sustain your peace of mind over a longer period of time. So that's the idea behind that particular sutra or the verse that you just mentioned.
Same thing, Lord put question back to Arjuna. He said, Nasti buddhi ayuktasya nachayuktasya bhavana nacha bhavayatah shanti ashantasya kuto sukham. This is the verse. Now the kuto sukham is, he says Arjuna, tells Arjuna, you have to read this verse in a reverse way.
Okay.
Last word is kuto sukham. How can one be happy? He says. He said, why not? He said, because that person is, the prerequisite of happiness is peace of mind. So he said, so ashantihi. Why? Then he said, why it is ashanti? Then he says, because abhavayata. His thought flow is polluted. And then consequently, na asti buddhi. He doesn't have clear intelligence. Now, if you do not have clear intelligence, you cannot, your thought flow will be contaminated.
So you can't make good choices.
Yes, and then if your thought flow is polluted, you cannot have mental peace. If you don't have mental peace, you cannot be happy. That one catchword in that shloka is ayuktasya. Yukta means connected, ayukta means disconnected. So Krishna says, if you are disconnected from me, your intelligence won't work properly.
That's really beautiful. That sutra is absolutely beautiful.
Exactly.
I understand.
So nasti buddhi ayukta.
Yes.
So first connect yourself to Krishna. Your intelligence will become clear. Otherwise, like if you are a non-devotee, okay, today you will call me a friend. After 5 years, you will ditch me about me. Somebody else, you will bitch about me. You say, then again you will reconnect with me. So you say, no, we are friends. We go over a drink. This is nonsense. This is going on. That judgment will fail you. If you are not a devotee, only a devotee can judge. judgment of the devotee will be perfect. That is why your intelligence has to be clear. Then your mind will be pure.
You know, Maharaj, I understand what you're saying, but I'm thinking of the people that are not quite at that place where they're willing to accept Krishna as Bhagwan, if you like, you know, the all-pervading being or power. Yes. Let's say it's okay if they don't do that, but as long as they begin to understand that if they want to be happy, they better make good choices and create good habits, yes. and actually ditch those habits that are creating the vrittis, yes. you know, the chitta vritti, the disturbance right. of the yes. mind. Yes. So, you know, that's probably enough as a platform for people to begin.
To start with, you come out of these 4 major sins.
Yes.
Okay. Then start chanting the holy name of God. Mm-hmm. You may not have faith, doesn't matter. Why is this? Suppose I had migraine, okay, then it was cured by some medicine.
Yeah.
You have migraine.
You don't have to believe in the medicine, but exactly. the medicine will do its job, right? Yes.
Medicine administered will do its job.
Exactly.
Similarly, the moment you start chanting Krishna's name, chanting hear his names, he will start working in you.
Right.
Yes. So without his help, my point is this. You see, you will tell me that, okay, Hindus know Krishna, French may not know German. No, that is another thing. My point is Krishna is common for the whole universe.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, like in Chicago, I went once, I went to a church, mm-hmm. attended a sermon. So that priest came to me at the close of the sermon. You were in a very unique dress. So do I presume that you are also preaching God consciousness like me? I said, I do preach God consciousness, but not like you. Then he said, how come that? You know, typical expression. How come that? I said, you have to come to my home for a lunch. I'll explain you. So he came over for a lunch, vegetarian. So we talked, and he raised this topic. I said, I look at a dollar coin, American dollar coin. In American dollar coin, they write, in God we trust. It's written there. I said, this is good. I told him. He said, yeah. I said, do you know who is God?
Yes.
He doesn't know.
No.
Okay. Then I said, then how you said that? That's why I said, I also preach God conscious, not like you, because you do not know the God. So we say, I told him, you believe in Son of God, Jesus Christ. That's fine. And Krishna is his father. That is God. So I'm preaching God consciousness means I'm preaching Krishna consciousness.
Krishna consciousness, yes. So, you know, the program's about to come to an end. I have a whole load of other questions for you, but I think we will really end on that note. Can you just repeat the verse that you mentioned just now regarding Shanti, Ashanti, and Yukta, Yukta? Yeah.
Na asti buddhi means this intelligence is not clear. Nasti buddhi. Ayuktasya. Ayukta one is disconnected from me. And nacha ayuktasya bhavana. Bhavana means thought flow, meditation on Krishna. It is not possible if your mind will not have that power of concentration if you are detached from him. So if your mind, the thought flow is polluted, then you cannot have mental, because you will be strategizing.
Beautiful.
Scheming.
Beautiful.
I'll feed this guy, I'll do that.
Work on peace and happiness will come. Don't work on happiness, work on being peaceful.
Yeah, so
perhaps that's
peace is the prerequisite for happiness.
Great. So a little bit more time, I think we can fit in maybe a couple of questions. Can you explain the difference between Brahman and Atman?
Yeah. See, Brahman, since the creation of this universe, there existed 2 classes of spiritualists. One is personalist, one is impersonalist. Impersonalist means those who do not believe God as a person. Okay? So they believe that ultimate reality is a formless entity. Like even Buddhism says that, Jainism says that, Judaism says that.
Yes.
Yeah. So that ultimate reality which is abstract, they call it Brahman. Whereas the personalists, they say no, the ultimate reality is a person. Okay? So Krishna says in the Gita, what they call Brahman, the abstract absolute, he says, Brahmano hi pratishtaham. I am the basis of that Brahman. You see? In the Gita, it is very clearly said. So therefore, Krishna, the Brahman is kind of something subordinate to it. The Vaishnavas don't deny, they only say it's an impersonal aspect of God. And Atma is the atomic individual consciousness,
right,
which is a portion of Krishna.
Right.
Like Krishna is blazing fire, we are the spark coming out.
Right.
So
Very
Atman
nice.
and Brahman.
Beautiful.
And Krishna is Supreme Brahman. That is because he is the basis for the Brahman. Okay.
Very nice. So for someone who's struggling with not having enough money, I want to talk about what teachings might help somebody like him. So for example, I've heard people who are in such a situation, very stressed, and I've heard people actually say something like, it's learning about the Gita and all the rest of it is great for people who are rich and who've got the time to spend on understanding all of this. But
Puchaila was not, he's a poverty-stricken man. Puchaila means dress. Pu means torn dress, torn everywhere. Of course, these days I find a gentle lady, young lady came out of Mercedes car, but her jeans torn everywhere.
That's a fashion. That's the current fashion.
I was surprised initially. First time when I came, I was shocked.
Yes.
Yeah. So the poverty-stricken person like Puchaila, he was Krishna conscious, and Ambarisha Maharaja, he had tremendous opulence because an emperor of the whole world. He was also Krishna conscious. See, it is not that Krishna consciousness meant for poor chaps. No, it's not that. It's called akinchana or nishkinchana. In Sanskrit, kinchana means something. Nishkinchana or akinchana means one who has nothing. That doesn't mean a beggar will be easily Krishna. No, not necessarily. Beggar need not be Krishna conscious. He may entertain many desires inside. Because he has no money, he is not trying to attack the whole world. So it is not a question of that. The question is, if you have faith, yes, I am an individual soul, Krishna is the supreme soul. I am a part and parcel of him. This faith is required. That is why in Bhagavad Purana, I forgot to tell you, see what Krishna spoke within this Kurukshetra battlefield, 700 verses, it is elaborated into 18,000 verses in Bhagavatam. So in that Bhagavata Purana, child devotee Prahalada says, Kaumara Acharet Pragyaha. That God consciousness should be instilled into the children from the age 1 to 5. Kaumara, that's called Kaumara stage. If you can inculcate this God consciousness into children in that age, they immediately become Krishna and happy throughout their life. There's no other go. That's why the Lord very clearly says in the Gita itself, Bahunam Janmanam Ante Jnanavan Mam Prapadyate. The wise man will surrender unto me, intelligent person will surrender unto me, not in one lifetime. Bahunam Janmanam, many millions of lifetimes. So if you are fortunate, if you start hearing right from tomorrow, especially if possible from the lips of a very fully surrendered devotee of Krishna, it will penetrate into you and will stop, activate you. It's kind of activating.
Right.
Yeah, we are already there. We are already Krishna conscious, but now it's covered, fully covered.
I have one more question that I want to put to you today. So in chapter 11, verse 23, Krishna says, "Nimittam matram bhava." I love that. Nimittam matram bhava. Be a mere instrument, right? It's such a beautiful term, isn't it?
I think you have done a good lot of homework.
Well, I like to think so. This is so much inspiration in these shastras. Good. So what should we do in our modern lives to bring ourselves into alignment with being a medium to serve that's the highest within?
Why do you say highest within? Say Krishna directly.
No, because I want to speak for everybody, Maharaj. I don't just want to speak to those people who are already accepting of Krishna consciousness. There are many people in the world who are ready to be inspired by this.
True, but then what you have to see here is, you are talking from the Gita. If you are talking outside the Gita, I would have said, okay, fine, you are right. But because you are pardoning the shloka from Gita,
Okay.
so Krishna says, be my instrument.
Okay.
So there's no other way to answer this. Really. So if you want to be an instrument to him, then what do? He says, even in your regular day-to-day activities, you will be there, fine, you do your job. In the lot, the end of the chapter, he says, Yayidam paramam guhyam mad bhakteshu abhidhasyati bhaktim mayim padam kritva mamev eshyati asamshaya. Whoever speaks, preaches this science, that person is most dear to me. So that is how you can be an instrument. Like I am an instrument, I offered myself as an instrument to Lord Krishna. That's why I am following his guidance. He says, speak my words.
And there may be other things that are also valid and relevant to be done.
Speak up, yeah. Whatever.
You know, it could be anything. So, you know, there's many issues in the world. There are many problems that need solving. So I think it's fair to say that, you know, it doesn't just have to be in the guise of somebody who is talking about Krishna consciousness, you know, talking about it, but maybe doing work which is benefiting, you know, people at large or the world or whatever.
But then the question comes, unless you know what is good, actual definition of good. That's why in many charities, so many places, some corruption is taking place, money is being misused.
Yes.
See, we even say if you
so there's no integrity in these things. So when there's a lack of integrity, it doesn't. That's not what we're talking about.
Because you have put one more question, that ahankara.
Yes.
You see, ahankara, pratishtha, himsa. You see, someone who says, I'm rich, he's ahankara, okay? Then he say, I'll do charity. He's doing it for his name and fame.
Yeah.
There's not genuine compassion. There's not genuine compassion.
Self-interest, a deep self-interest involved.
Self-interest.
Yes.
He may be drinker. He may be a drug addict. He may be an animal flesh eater. He may be a prostitute hunter. But still, because he is the billionaire, he would like to give money. He wants to see his names everywhere.
That doesn't count.
But
what about, let's say, for example, somebody who does a very modest job. I mean, I like my environment very clean. And when I have somebody who comes to help me to clean the house, and she does such a great job. I'm like, it's wonderful. Would that count as something that is serving, appropriate as a service?
No, it cannot be taken as, like, there's a technical word. People used to call it the Manav Seva and Madhav Seva.
Okay.
So Manav Seva, that way it cannot be Madhav Seva.
Okay.
But Madhav Seva includes Manav Seva. You see, like when we distribute prasadam, if you go to Mayapur area in Bengal, many mutts, many centers are there. They distribute to thousands of devotees Krishna Prasad. Yeah. So that is also Manav Seva.
Beautiful. So I'm told time is up. We need to close
it is endless. I can talk for hours.
We could do. Thank you. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I appreciate. Actually, I wanted to bless you because for your age, you have gone so deep into Gita. This is also Krishna consciousness. Serve like this. You are actually an instrument. By calling me and talking to me, you are becoming an instrument of Krishna. Maintain that. Never give up this.
Thank you.
Hari.
Thank you.